Good morning, friends. My name is Candice. Today we are going to be making a beautiful sign. So this would be great for a wedding, just for in your home. I've started with just a plain old piece of wood. It was an offcut from something that I had, and I've just given it a base coat. We're going to use a little bit the and here from block type. We're going to be using a little bit of typeset. Always my favorite, Candice Regard. Retro, we're going to be using this one. We're going to be using a little bit of Astoria in the black and white, and Redoute II. So much going on. Actually, we're probably going to be using the vintage textures because I think I always do. To start off, I just want to make sure that I have a stripe down the middle because I like that look. You don't have to. All of this is optional. And I'm just going to tape it off. I just kind of am eyeballing it here because that's how I roll. So I'm just setting down some painter's tape so that it's not going to damage whatever's underneath. Actually, I'm going to make that one a little bit higher. Is that approximately right? So I can remove this without doing any damage to the paint underneath. So basically, I want to make sure that these letters are going to go into both colors. So that's what I'm going for here. So again, I haven't marked it off perfectly. Alrighty, so I'm just going to get a little bit of a base color in here. I'm not worrying too much that it's perfect because, again, I like to, at the end, sand things back. So I'm going to remove my tape. So I've got my beautiful straight lines. Ta-da! So easy. All right, I am going to use this just as a carrier for some paint. And we're just going to put a little bit on here. I'm going to use my brayer because I find the brayer when I'm painting, using paint on top of my stamps, I just find that the brayer gives you that perfect even amount. I find sometimes if I use a foam roller, I'm heavy-handed, so I'm going to gush it in there, and I'm not going to get the clean lines that I like. So I'm just going to spread this out, get my beautiful thin line. So I'm bringing this in, and I'm not too worried about, because I don't want it to be perfectly on there. So I'm going to lay it, and I'm just touching areas. I actually don't want the whole square on there. And lift. I'm gonna, because I'm using the paint, I'm just going to reload. If I was stamping, I might not, but the paint seems to dry very quickly, and I might not get the look I'm going for. Alrighty, so here we go again. I'm lining it up so at least the words are similar direction. And maybe this last one, I'm just gonna do it like this.
Good morning from Pennsylvania.
Perfect. Look at this. So I'm loving how I'm creating depth. And actually at this point, we're just gonna hit it with a little bit of heat to dry that. It's not gonna take long at all. So I know that I want approximately 6 1/4 inches on the ends to hold my IOD transfers. So I'm just putting a little mark that's going to be hidden when I do my edges later, so I'm not worried about that at all. And so this is where I'm starting with, and then I'm just going to line up my words. And again, I'm just eyeballing. I do have this line, so I have something to work with, and I'm putting them the way that I can see them. And where's my and? I'm just loving all of these little bits, right, that come with the block type, because you can put them in so many things. So again, I want to end about there. So I'm lining it up. I can see where that's going to work. So I'm not going to worry about this one right now. That's going to come back in later. And I'm just pulling. So this is just a little bit of a thicker transfer sheet, and I just find that it works really well. Okay, so I'm going to do these one at a time, and I'm lining up with the top edge of my board right there. I'm pushing this down, and now I'm ready to stamp, and it's lined up, ready to go. So it's going to make my job super, super easy. Normally I would say don't stamp on top of your project, but pretty sure there's no chance of me getting it where it shouldn't go. There's my edge. And once this is down, right, I don't want to shift it. Look at that! Super easy. So I'm just going to right away clean these off so that they just stay really good. So again, we are lining this up and attaching them, just making sure they're on there, ready to go. All right. So again, I have to watch for that little line there. And so we've stamped using the paint on here, and now we've stamped the letters with the Iron Orchid Design black ink. So with this one, you'll notice I'm actually not doing it over my project because I don't have a lot of edging on here. It's already cut out on the stiff backing, so I have something to hold on to, but I would never trust myself to do that on my project, okay? And don't do it. Trust me on this one. Just don't do it. That's right. I want this approximately in the center-ish, and I like it on an angle, just mixes it up. Once it's down, I'm committing to it, making sure that it's on there. So I'm not giving too much pressure, a little bit, because I want to make sure the ink goes into that paint. Depending on what you're using, this one is a chalk style paint, and so it's a little bit more absorbent than something that might have a top coat already in it. And there we go. Okay, so I'm just using some more detail brush, and I'm just going to paint this in. So this is my little trick. Okay. I just dipped into my ball of paint. I'm going to knock it off once and go in here. And I'm going to dip again, knock it off once. There you go. So I've just cut a bunch of bits and pieces here. So I think this is going to go approximately here. I do want to make sure that my paint is fully dry before I do this. So I'm just sort of right now figuring out where I'm going with it. So I'm going to like that there. I want a bit more brightness on this side, and maybe I'll use half of that is what I'm thinking there. And then we want some of this beautiful I definitely need to pull some buds here. And I don't know if you can see on the other one, but I put a bit of topography on top of this. I think I'm going to layer that so you'll just sort of see a piece of it. Might be too small, we'll see. And I want something coming out of here as well. So now I'm just going to get it on there with my hands and then start rubbing. And I know this is like the best sound in the world, but but it's a means to an end. Sometimes you can hear when I catch a bubble, and that I love that sound because it means that it's transferring, whoops, really easily. And you don't want to catch too much. You do want it to stay where it's supposed to be. Can you see that color change? So I've caught a bubble there, and it is coming off. My kids. Alrighty, so that looks like we've got it all on there. Ta-da! Those edges we're just going to push down, and now I'm just running over it again just to make sure where I had some of those bubbles that it's stuck down. Alrighty, how beautiful is that? So I want you to see here too, I don't want this stem to be there because then it's just floating in the middle of nowhere. And so I'm actually just going to trim it so that it looks like it's tucking from behind that little spot in the rose there. I can use that elsewhere on another project. So I'm just lining that up so it looks like it's coming right out from in behind that there. And I could possibly even, if I wanted to get really, I could have that one down there. So then it, right? Like but it's in behind. So let's do that. Because that's again just showing how these little bits and pieces, you can just layer them up. Right. It's all in the detail. And the Iron Orchid designs, transfers and stamps, they're so detailed. We're just gonna set it right there and get to work. I don't want to waste, again, that end bit. So I know that I'm going to cut approximately there and there. And we're going to cut one and then just see how. Let's see. Actually, that might just do it right like that. Oh, look at that. Did you see that little bit of...
How do you know when enough is enough? Like,
you know what? I think that is, that is always... Look at that. Wow. So that's awesome, but I do want to now, when you get a really good one like that, you do want to 100% come back and make sure that everything is stuck down well. Okay, and these edges here, I'm just going to push them down for now. Stunning. And when I can just sand those off later. So a little bit caught when I rubbed it off because I didn't trim it. And so I caught it. So I'm going to then just layer on top. And then it's as if there's another one right there. These things are so forgiving, you guys. And layering is your friend. So when something like that happens, you can just layer it right back over. See? I do want to put some topography over here. And this one actually is from the Redoute. And it says Rosa. And I just think it's so pretty. So that's going to go here.
The possibilities are endless.
Always. So yeah.
To love. Oh, I see how you're...
Right? Yeah. So again, that's layering. Going right over top. I just love how, again, it's just giving a little bit more dimension. So with this, I just, this is cardboard from when you are doing poster boards with your kids in class. Cardstock. Yeah. And so I just cut out some triangles and made it into a you know, like a flag, a birthday flag. And then basically I just took the typeset and stamped. And you know what? It isn't perfect. Because again, I'm a messy stamper. And then we're just quickly gonna do some crackle because I love it. And I'm going over everything, but I'm not doing it perfect. Actually, I want to switch it, so I'm going a different direction, right? And I'm not doing everything, I'm just doing spots. And I haven't even re-stamped it because some places are going to be heavier than others. So I'm just going to do a little bit of the tiny crackle as well, just along the edges. Just again, it's that one more layer. Right? Now I didn't need to have that dark color underneath. It just, again, it layers, 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 people. How beautiful is that? So whether you add something to the bottom, the X's and O's, whether you add your dates that you got married or had children or anything like that, it's super fun. So thank you all for watching,